The Old Bailey. This place always makes me feel strange. I seem to get chills down my spine and break out in a nervous sweat all the time. All at the same time. Well, I didn't think I'd be back here so soon.
That's my line! Good morning!
Good morning, Mr. Natsume.
It was only 2 days ago that I was declared not guilty here.
Yes, we somehow managed to prove he didn't stab Miss Green in the back.
But now this! Not another morning, another murder, and here I am again in this hellhole! God, keep coming to court!
I'm beginning to think he's right. It does seem as though he's cursed. Mr. Naruhodo, I'm afraid I have bad news. Oh. Mr. Natsume, good morning.
Oh.
You didn't want to say it in front of Natsume, didn't you?
Yes, morning.
So, here we are again. Why are you smiling like that?
Yes, again.
Awkward silence.
Hey, judicial assistant Miss Mikotoba Esquire, what's the bad news?
Oh dear, you heard, did you?
If you come in shouting at the top of your voice, people can't help hearing what you say.
Oh, I am sorry. You've done nothing wrong, Mr. Saturn. Now what is it? Well, it seems that the prosecution in today's trial will be led by Lord Baroque van Zieks. That's the bad news. That's like old news. Van Zieks?
Oh, no.
The so-called Reaper of the Bailey, the most legendary prosecutor in the land. It's not like this is the first time. Why are we so flustered? In the trial 2 days ago, he pursued Soseki-san and I relentlessly. Of course, by the skin of our teeth. We managed to pull through, but still. Perhaps Mr. Natsume's acquittal in the last trial wasn't the end of the matter. After all... Yes, I know what you're thinking. The legend of the Reaper that says nothing can save a person at a dock when Lord Van Zieks is the prosecutor.
Oh no!
That even if the person is found not guilty, the accused will meet a mysterious end, one way or another. And we've experienced it firsthand. A man we successfully defended met the most terrifying end after his acquittal, right here in the Old Bailey.
Do I have to put up with those ice-cold eyes boring into my soul again? Cursed by evil spirits and now by the Reaper. Pair of petrifying perils, potentially.
Well, if it's potentially, at least you appear to have hope, Mr. Natsume.
Welcome, student Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire.
Yes.
I'm innocent. You have to believe me. You more than anyone now.
Don't worry. I'll be your steadfast ally every step of the way in this battle, I promise. And this promises to be a hard battle, I fear. Well, the trial is scheduled to begin shortly. We should move into the courtroom. Let's go. Oh yes, I forgot to say. I'm afraid he won't be able to make it, Mr. Sholmes, I mean. Let me guess, he overslept? Again? That's probably for the best. Oh, ouch. Oh. If he were here, I might be tempted to rely on his help. And that could be seen as a weakness. If Lord Van Zieks were to notice, he'd prey on it mercilessly. At least, that's my gut feeling. Mr. Naruhodo?
You're right, yes, you're so right. Oh, well said, locum student Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire, well said.
I swear on this sword at my side and on the spirit of Kazuma that it harbors. I'll show him what a Japanese lawyer can do. I'll set you free. With honor. Oh yes!
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
The prosecution is ready. The defense is ready, my lord. Readiness for the trial, my learned Nipponese friend, is not what the defense needs. What you need is readiness for your inevitable defeat. Why is he so obsessed with victory and defeats? It's not just in my imagination, it's really there. And also, if we are talking about victory and defeats, I defeated him. How many times now? 2 times by now, right? 2 times or 3 times? Lord Van Zieks has such an animosity towards us Japanese for some reason. It was some time ago now that he first became known as the Reaper of the Bailey, I believe. These past few years he hasn't appeared in court at all. And now he's back in the courtroom, though for some reason, only when I'm defending. This Reaper, with his curious disdain for us Japanese, is a prosecutor shrouded in mystery. Still, this isn't the time to be pondering that. I have to concentrate on Soseki-san's trial.
Furthermore, I now call upon the 6 ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in this trial. Are you ready to fulfill your duty?
Absolutely. I had a feeling this larrikin wasn't innocent before. You again?
I must say that I feel especially ruthless on days when my head refuses to sit right.
You again? Oh, well, I rather like how you're wearing your hat. I think the ruthless look is very fetching, actually. You again?
Oh. I need to be somewhere at 10 o'clock. I have a very important meeting. Let's make this quick.
I'm gonna give me more. I don't like to drive home 5 bombs and I want to miss it what goes through the roof. You again? Oh, may the Lord show us all the light here and lead his flock to a righteous verdict. You again.
The British jury system is so very different to our own, isn't it? It's quite extraordinary to think that the power of judgment is in the hands of 6 members of the public, and that the judge can only pass sentence when all jurors are in agreement about the defendant's guilt.
And it's amazing how it's always the same people who come back. 6 citizens chosen at random, or at least that's the idea. The prosecution would draw attention to the fact that the accused was on trial here but 2 days ago. Accordingly, where possible, the same jurors have been asked to return for duty today. Oh, okay, it's not 6 random jurors. It's the 6 same jurors, what the heck? Except for that one lady in the middle, who should have been Mrs. Garridab, right, if I remember correctly.
Very well, let us commence the trial. Lord Van Zieks, your opening statement, please.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it is not the intent of the prosecution to cast doubt over your past decision. However, the innocent verdict afforded to this eccentric Nipponese before has had dire consequences. What? Consequences? Did the accused repent for his wrongdoing in that affair? Far from it. I feel like I should object here. The court has declared his innocence, so why are you talking about his wrongdoing again? Instead, he used his freedom to perpetrate a most blood-curdling crime, namely that of the attempted murder of his neighboring lodger, an innocent Englishman. To explain the circumstances of this crime, the prosecution calls its first witnesses to the stand. The detective responsible for investigating the scene, and the accused himself. Oh, so he's fine now. Oh wait, accused, sorry. Soseki-san. Witnesses, your names and occupations, please.
Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard's Homicide Division. Ryunosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan.
Wait, these two have the same voice. Uh-oh.
My government ordered me to come here as a student to study your language and culture. Mr. Natsume? Yes, my lord, sir. I am quite sure I'm not mistaken that you swore an oath never to set foot in my courtroom again.
Right, he did say that. But I also said he couldn't say that because it's not a promise that he can keep.
I remember it as if it were yesterday.
The day before, in fact, my lord, but close enough. Or one game before.
Believe me, this is the last place I want to be.
Inspector, let's hear from you first. Explain the case for the court.
Where do you are, sir? The incident occurred at the Garrett household where the defendant has lodgings. In the ground floor room of the victim, Mr. William Shakespeare.
Ground floor room. So the ground floor is where Shakespeare's apartment is, right? And the first floor is where Sosaki's apartment is located, right?
And the defendant has already admitted to visiting the victim on the night in question. Mr. Shakespeare collapsed in his room as a result of poisoning by strychnine.
What? Strychnine? Strychnine?
He was found the following morning when the landlord, suspecting something was wrong, broke down the door.
Well, actually, Sosaki broke down the door.
This means I presume that the door to the victim's room was locked at the time of the incident.
Correct, my lord. It was locked from the inside, making entry to or exit from the room impossible.
Although the victim, Mr. Shakespeare, lives to tell tale, he very nearly didn't. The man was halfway to heaven when we first found him. I was the first officer on the scene, my lord. And I have a photographic print here that I took at the time to show how it looked. Yes, a chilling scene indeed. The man looks very much deceased. That's right, everyone present believed that's exactly what he was.
What, you didn't even check? What lousy police officers are you?
Very well, I shall accept this photographic print as evidence. Now then, Mr. Natsume,
hold on. Oh, the pair of teacups. Torn off envelope. Soap. We do not have the post-mortem report. Okay, this is all. This is what we expected, I guess. There's a hole here. Is this gonna be relevant? And this is like a... I don't know what this is. Water maybe spilled onto the floor. Or it's the gas. Wait, gas? No. Oil? No, it's gas, so this can't be gas. Gas is not a liquid. It could be water. Or something.
Oh, yes. As a defendant, do you have anything to say at this juncture? They're haunted by evil spirits. Good gracious, what's haunted? My lodgings! There's been a whole series of strange happenings in my lodgings. The tenant before me died in mysterious circumstances. A woman was stabbed by no one on the street outside. My neighbor was poisoned. And me! What about me? I've nearly been killed countless times. Killed, Mr. Natsume? How? Even on that fateful night it happened, when I returned from Mr. Shamspeare's room, I lit my gas stove and climbed into bed, but before long, the stove went out. Somebody tried to kill me.
What?
You must always extinguish all fires before retiring for the night, Mr. Natsume. But it's so cold, my runny nose would freeze. The point is, I didn't poison my neighbor. Oh, why am I being accused of this? Why is my existence so cursed? Thank you, witnesses. I believe I have a reasonably clear picture of events.
If I could raise one more point, my lord. One more conclusive point.
Conclusive? Go on.
Fortunately, the victim, Mr. Shamspeare, has regained consciousness after his ordeal, and he has named the true culprit. The poison consumed by the victim was administered in a cup of tea that he drank on the night in question. Tea, my lord, that was brought to the victim's room by the accused.
The accused? Good grief!
Hold on, that's not right.
Order!
I mean, if the poison was in the tea itself, Natsume should have died too. I mean, not died, I mean, affected, let's say. Right? Because they both drank the tea. Yes, that's the crux of this whole case. If Soseki-san is innocent, then why? Why has the victim accused him?
Well, Mr. Natsume, what have you to say to this accusation?
That evening, yes, I did take some freshly brewed tea with me when I visited Mr. Shamspeare's room as a gift. The public water pump outside always freezes at night, so I bought bottled water especially to make it. And this is the result, and never will I touch tea again, never! The public pump was frozen, you say? That's not information we've heard before.
That will do, thank you. Now, according to our laws, the defense must have the opportunity to cross-examine witnesses at least once. Therefore, I call upon these witnesses now for formal testimony. I presume the prosecution has no objection.
None whatsoever, my lord.
Good, then we will give your account of events on the night in question to the court now. Yes, my lord! It was around 9 o'clock that evening when I visited my neighbor and took some tea with me as a gift. We had a heated literary debate over a nice hot drink, after which I went back to my room at around 11. Oh, my tea was completely harmless. He couldn't have locked the door behind me otherwise, could he? Strychnine takes some time to have an effect on the body. People don't keel over immediately after taking it. The victim would have been perfectly able to lock the door after his guest left. The argument still stands. Yes, I see. It all seems relatively straightforward.
Excuse me, but that testimony does raise one rather crucial point, I think. Mr. Natsume claims his tea to have been harmless. Presumably, though, the teacups have been examined for traces of the poison, haven't they? Why didn't I think of that? I did think of that. What do you mean?
Well, as it happens, no. We haven't been able to.
Been able to?
Did I hear you correctly, Inspector? Scotland Yard has failed to examine the suspect's substance.
How could you have overlooked something so important? Isn't that the first thing you should have done? My learned Nipponese friend is falsely incensed. Huh? The inspector said Scotland Yard was unable to examine the tea, not that it was overlooked. Unable? Why?
Simple enough, there were none left, not a drop. Someone must have been very thirsty indeed.
Not the tea, the teacups. What are you talking about? Yeah, so Sato-san said the teacups should have been examined for traces of poison. With current scientific techniques, it's not possible to test for poison under such circumstances. Huh?
We only need a drop, but that one drop does actually have to exist, funnily enough.
So you can only analyze the tea itself. So even though the poison has been applied to the teacups, you need to wait until the poison has steeped into the tea and then analyze the tea? The lack of examination notwithstanding, it appears nothing other than the tea passed the victim's lips on the night in question.
I see, thank you. The matter is clear.
Cast your eyes over the jury, my learned friend. What? You can see it in their faces, I'm sure. The recognition of the accused's guilt. This isn't legal to have the same jurors as in the last case. That can't be legal. Your client's fate is all but sealed. In mere moments from now, you will lose and your compatriot will be damned for all eternity. Holy crap. What is this? He's right. I can feel all 6 of the jurors looking daggers at me. But I can't let them beat me down. I won't.
Counsel for the defense, proceed with your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. Okay. A heated literary debate. Hold it! So you drank the tea as well, right? A literary debate about Shakespeare's works, I think you said, didn't you?
Shakespeare? Oh, a very worthy topic of conversation, I must say. Oh, yes, my lord. Romeo and Juliet. Who was stronger? It was a profoundly pleasurable parley. Romeo and Juliet?
Who was stronger? I know I'm going to regret asking this, but how did the debate go?
Well, we both agreed that we could reach a conclusion more quickly with a reenactment.
Reenactment? Wait, he's the Romeo and you're the Juliet? What?
So we battled it out in cool, in a Greco-Roman style, naturally.
What? What?
Mr. Shakespeare had all sorts of costumes in his room for just such a contest.
So, when you say a reenactment, you mean you were actually in costume?
He is Romeo, I is Juliet, and after a vigorous wild tussle, I, as Juliet, came out on top, a victory I'll cherish forever. I dare not imagine the terrible scene of carnage.
The fact remains that it was you who prepared the tea and took it to the victim, correct?
I boiled the water in my room and made a pot to take with me. I'd heard that he was too poor to have tea himself, you see.
It's true, there was no sign of any tea leaves in the man's room.
I wanted to do something nice, to be friendly. But why is everyone looking at me with such suspicion? My tea wasn't harmless, of course it was. And do you have any basis for that statement, witness?
Huh. Strychnine. People don't keel over immediately after taking it. Oh yeah, there's no post-mortem report because he's still alive, right? It can't be a post-mortem report. Okay. Huh? But you drank the tea as well, right? Hold it! Yes, there was not a drop of tea left in the victim's room anywhere, was there?
That's correct. Anyone would think the fellow had never had a pot of tea before. He must have licked it dry. Which is a pity because one drop is all we would have needed to analyze it for poison.
And you say that you returned home to your room at 11 o'clock, Mr. Natsume?
Yes, definitely. By heaven and earth, I swear it. The landlord was able to verify that as it happens. He confirmed that the defendant went back to his room at 11 that night. And how is the landlord be able to attest to this? He, said it was the lamps, I believe. The lamps, Inspector?
When tenants return to their rooms and start using gas, the lamps in other parts of the house flicker. Yes, Mr. Garrett seems to pay a lot of attention to the comings and goings of his tenants.
There's only one key to Mr. Shamspeare's room, I know that for certain. So he must have locked the door himself from inside his room. The victim has confirmed that to be the case, yes. So I'm right, my tea was harmless, completely harmless. If you take poison, you die. Everyone knows that. It's not that simple, I'm afraid. What do you mean?
The poison takes some time to have an effect on the body. Wait, how do you know that it's strychnine? Oh, because of the hospital analysis, I guess. There is a hospital analysis, right?
Hold it!
How long does it take for symptoms to appear then?
According to the coroner I was speaking to at the yard, about 30 minutes after the poison's consumed. Then the victim suffers violent convulsions, cramping and stiffness, and eventually dies from asphyxiation.
So there's a 30-minute interval between when the poison is ingested and the onset of symptoms. There seems to be a lot of different types of poison in the world, that's for sure. Oh dear, death by poisoning again. It's always so awful. 30 minutes is a long time. Certainly long enough for the victim to have locked the door behind the accused after he left. You can't deny that, and it further degrades Soseki-san's alibi.
I have the medical report from the doctor who examined the victim here, my lord.
Yes, medical report.
Spells it out really, the accused is the only person who could have done it. Very well, the court will add this report to the court record.
Oh yes, I see it here. Delayed onset of symptoms. Okay, let's have a look ourselves. William Shamspeare, 31, cause of coma, ingestion of small quantity of strychnine. Toxic effects present 30 minutes after ingestion. High likelihood of the substance having been mixed with the tea the victim was drinking, but no sample could be obtained for testing. The poisoning incident occurred around 1:30 a.m. on 21st February. Assessed from the victim's pocket watch that appears to have broken when the man collapsed after the delayed onset of symptoms. Huh? But Soseki-san was back in his room at 11 p.m. the day before, right? No container for the poison was found at the scene. Great. So there we have it. That's the extent of the testimony, is it? If I could voice a personal opinion, Mr. Naruhodo, of course, go ahead. Mr. Natsume is arguing for his innocence so adamantly and so persistently, yet Inspector Gregson just brushes what he says aside. It's really quite infuriating. I agree. So we need to find an inconsistency in what the inspector is saying, I think. I'm afraid so. As things stand, the jurors are sure to find Mr. Natsume guilty. As I see it, what we need to focus on is the poison and the tea. Let's listen carefully, again. Yes. "9 o'clock in the evening. And he went back to his room at around 11. Yeah, so... Yeah, the poison's effects should be present 30 minutes after ingestion, but he collapsed at around 1:30 a.m.
Objection!
Mr. Natsume, you say it was 11 p.m. when you left to return to your room, correct?
Yes!
And Inspector Gregson, can we rely on the information in the medical report unconditionally?
Of course we can. There's no problem with that report, Sunshine.
Actually, I think there is a very big problem, because there's a chronological inconsistency between it and the defendant's testimony.
What? What are you on about?
According to this report, the victim must have consumed the poison at around 1:30 in the morning. And yet, the defendant, Mr. Natsume, left the victim's room at 11.
Oh!
Yes, that's right. There's more than 2 hours of missing time there. In other words, if there was poison in the tea that Mr. Natsume brought to the victim's room, how could the victim have fallen ill to it 2.5 full hours after the defendant left?
Whoa!
Why is Soseki-san surprised at this?
The defense's argument is entirely reasonable. How do you respond, Lord Manzeeks?
He's so calm and collected. That was a long animation. Pray forgive the discourtesy if my mind has wandered. I was considering what cuisine would best complement the contents of my hallowed chalice this luncheon. Okay. How could it have happened, you ask? No! Okay. I do hate to shatter illusions, but my Nipponese friend appears to be chasing a phantom idea. A phantom? Is it so hard to imagine that the victim drank his tea after the accused has left? For example, at the time stated in a medical report. Yes, at around 1:30.
Objection!
Mr. Natsume brought a tea with him to drink together with his neighbor. And in Japan, there's a well-known saying, drink tea while it's hot.
Objection!
And in my country, there's an even more apt saying. There is nothing more refreshing than cold tea.
What? There is?
What? The point is, if there was such a long gap, there may be other ways to explain how the victim came to be poisoned. Other possibilities.
What sort of possibilities, Counsel?
Yeah, what sort of possibilities? Well, for example, the man could have had another visitor. Another visitor? That's a very bold assertion, my learned friend. From someone who has nothing to substantiate it. He got me. Or the victim could have taken the poison of his own volition. What?
You suggest this may have been a suicide, Counsel.
Objection!
Mr. Shamspeare has categorically denied suicide. The idea can and must be discounted.
Objection!
But he could be lying. Why? I'm trying too hard here. Stop doing that. We're better than this. Even Manzeeks is not impressed. So disappointed. Oh my god.
Something wrong, Lord Manzeeks.
I was listening to the sound of the carriage pulling up outside the courtroom. Pray forgive the discourtesy. Carriage? What carriage? It would seem that the key player in this case has just arrived. Oh. Huh? Who said that? Oh god, no. Out, brief candle, life's but a walking shadow. A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Who, sir, are you?
William Shakespeare, my lord. Alas, 'twas I, undone by these bitter events. I am the victim.
What's he doing here?
That was a brilliant entrance, I must say. The prosecution seeks to call this gentleman to the stand. With his testimony, my learned friend's futile resistance will be utterly crushed.
You're calling him as a witness? Very well, counsel. I grant your request with interest. I'm curious to discover what the court shall hear from the victim himself.
My goodness. Happy am I, Shakespeare, to regale thee with my tale of woe, my lord.
But I still have my own tale to tell. My own tale of woe. I can regale the court with the tale of my perfect innocence in perfect English. That will do, Mr. Natsume. Let the court now hear from the victim.
Oh my god, his face looks like a meme. Oh! Alright, so that's Mr. Shakespeare, and what is the mailman doing here? But who's that other man beside him? Yes, I feel sure that we've caught a glimpse of that man before. State your names and occupations for the court, please, witnesses. A writer of words so sweet, they do scent the breeze, an inventor of ideas so profound, they compose the earth. Very poetic. The unrivaled poet, the unmatched scribe, William Shakespeare. What a great bard to be recalled to life anew, lo, what a magnificent man. Good fellows, I am he who ponders such a miracle, William Shakespeare.
The name's Meterman, H1B Meterman. I work for the Adlamont Gas Company East End Branch Office.
Oh, you're not a mailman, you're a meter man. Here to read the meters on a gas meter? Ah, I remember now, it was yesterday on Briar Road. Oh yes, she's right, it's him. Yeah, we know this. I did not forget this. Goodness gracious, game. I must say the animations are much better than in the first game.
Ah!
And he's gone. With all those panning and whatnot. Yes, we spotted him outside Mr. Garrideb's house that morning, and he's a gas company employee. What does he have to do with this case?
So, Mr. William Shakespeare, you are the victim in this miserable affair, correct?
Oh heaven, oh hell, do you command me to remember? That sweet poison that didst across me and cross mine innocent lips. I seponade him for the trial, with his doctor's permission, naturally. Hearing the testimony of the aggrieved will remove any room of doubt from the jurors' minds, I'm sure. And behold, you have only to rearrange the letters of my name to see that me's a seraph, an angel indeed. Really? Me's a seraph. Huh. Might actually make sense. Thus be noble of mind, sweet of nature, and verily honest of heart, as all heavenly angels be. Okay, that's a little bit far-fetched.
Because there isn't a less contrived meaning in your name? No, not at all.
The jurors seem to be very moved by this man, I'm afraid. They're actually taking the seraph anagram idea seriously? Oh, they're actually taking this seriously?
Thank you, witnesses, for your illuminating introductions.
But my lord, what's the man next to Mr. Shamspeare doing here? The gas man, I mean.
What me? Well, now,
Allow me to enlighten my learned friend. You recall, I presume, your earlier impertinence? When you suggested that the victim had another visitor to his room on the night in question, and moreover that the victim is a compulsive liar. Huh? I didn't say that. What? What? No, I didn't quite say that. This young chinstroker here is to controvert your wild claims conclusively. Is that not so, Mr. Meterman?
hang on, no, I'm just here.
You're just here, what?
I hereby call for your formal testimonies. You will tell the court as lucidly as possible what happened on the night in question.
One may smile and be a villain. Yes, it doth pain me, but let the truth be spoken, the truth of that wintry night of my discontent. The wintry night of his discontent? The snow lay about. My neighbor did cometh in the evening, bearing a gift of tea. But Mary, bitter was his drink, and when he left, I did fall prostrate on my table. It was the tea alone that passed my lips that late hour, naught else. Huh? Did Sosik-san really not drink any of the tea?
I was outside this closed window in the freezing cold all night, keeping an eye on his room. And no one else visited his room but that short little round-backed Eastern fella.
Wait, what did you say? You were keeping an eye on Mr. Shamspeare's room all night?
That's right, of course. The bloke's window is all but blocked up, isn't it? But there's a little gap in the bricks where you can see into the room.
Holy crap, that is so creepy!
I spent the night trying to keep my teeth from chattering as I peered in through that. The question is, why? Well no, that's because he's on my list.
What a piece of work is a man, and wherefore wouldst thou not stare in wonderment?
I wouldn't. What are you talking about?
This buzzing busybody hath not part in this play. I pray thee, pay him no heed. Make no more ado about his tedious words.
What is it about me?
Calm yourself. This court is concerned with what happened on the night in question, nothing more.
Indeed, that is so.
And as the testimony we have just heard clearly reveals, there was no one other than the accused present at the time who could have carried out this crime.
Well, I believe this may be the final testimony of the trial.
The final one, really?
Now, counsel, the defense may proceed.
Yes, my lord.